Succulent.
In 10.
Hey, at least this isn't crunchy.
Sorry, you're absolutely right, Corey. I need to write this contract. I have had a day of real life / work life coinciding to create the perfect storm of fuckery.
He's going through some real dad shit.
Yeah. Have you guys ever moved 3 times in 3 months? Because your boy
I did.
is
I
doing
went
that.
to South Carolina to North Carolina to Georgia, and I had to pay car insurance or car, taxes. It was awful.
Golly. All right, let's do the thing where we play the song. Here it comes. It's coming at you.
It's a Bitcoin podcast. The only one that's making your money is you. Listen to the Bitcoin podcast. So hold on and listen to the Bitcoin podcast.
Hold on.
For life.
We got some new hats coming soon, eh?
Hell yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah, this thing's browning. This used to be a black hat. This is as black as my hair was one day.
Dang, dude. At least you have a hat. I never got a hat.
True. We have there's 30 people, random people around the globe that have hats. There's Ken Bozak, me,
Yeah.
D, and
That's 30.
I
Yep.
believe
Jello
he
Surgery
was
Jeff,
just
and,
a
Omar Bam. Omar Bam has one. He used to wear it on his podcast a lot. Other than that, randos.
yeah.
Gave them all out at
Yeah.
the Texas Bitcoin conference.
Interesting.
Yeah, I remember that. Like giving away free stuff.
They took them. They took them fast.
Golly. It doesn't matter what you're giving away at a conference as long as they know it's free. It's gone. It's
I mean, I'm
gone.
wearing a Badger shirt, so
It could be stale fortune cookies. If you got it says if there's a sign that says free, take one. It's like 30 seconds and they're gone. They're gone. Everyone's like, oh, free. Ooh, I'll take that. Anyways, hello,
I grab
audience.
swag. I told you my goal in all of my clothing, right?
Mhm.
Is
No.
to only wear
Swag.
from dead companies.
Interesting.
So
Why is that?
It's a weird flex, right? It's a real weird flex. It's
Is
like
Badger a dead
XOOG.
company? Badger's
No,
not doing
not
too
dead.
hot?
No. I just got this.
Oh, okay.
It's
So,
dying,
I
probably.
got this at F Denver, so I took a few steps back when I got all that stuff. But
Oh,
I got a bunch of stuff from dead companies.
F or ETH? You say F?
I say F.
Wow, I say
I
ETH.
think
Doesn't
maybe
matter.
it depends on context. I sometimes say ETH. I sometimes say F. I don't know.
This is gonna be a GIF GIF kind of situation over time, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure it already is.
F ETH. I say ETH because of Ether.
I say ETH when I'm talking about using the currency. So like assuming that cost me like 0.001 ETH to do that transaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say F in context of like a conference, like F Denver, F Amsterdam. I don't know. I kind of use them interchangeably. I don't know if I have a hard and fast rule.
This is why non-English speakers hate us, Corey. Stuff like that. Like I
Doesn't
use
matter.
F
It's not just
whenever.
English.
I use ETH whenever. Like this is why they're like, wait a second, what are you doing with these words? Anyways, guys, welcome to the Bitcoin podcast. We're rambling. This is a show that's not about Bitcoin at all anymore. So we're glad that you tuned in to get a wild surprise. We're talking about all kinds of crypto up in this piece. All right. So there's a lot going on in crypto, but there's always a lot going on in crypto. If I could prognosticate, I think crypto is moving into an arena where it's going to be forced to go mainstream, and with that comes lots of consequences. Yeah, good and bad. I don't know, man. It's getting weird out there in the crypto waves. So I think what I most recently saw, which kind of made my eye. Sometimes my eyebrow goes up when I see something, and I'm like, that's not passing the smell test. Was Coinbase's new activity when it comes to the token listings that they're putting on their platform, right? It's like
all the accusations of insider trading.
Yes, like it blew me up. Like it takes a lot of activity to come hit my news feed these days, and it blew up. How Coinbase is just like it's. I'm not gonna say I can't say it's front running because I think I could probably be sued. What is that? Libel? No, libel's written. What's the not written one? The talking. Where you're saying bad stuff about people that
Pretty
you have
sure
no.
that's also libel.
I thought libel was like
Slander.
written lies.
Slander.
Slander. Right.
Slander.
Yeah.
I don't
You
want
be
to
sued for
see.
slandering?
You can.
You
You
might
can.
be.
It's usually frivolous, but it ends up being just a waste of time for everyone. But
Interesting.
if you say something that you don't have evidence is true, it's called slander. Um,
Slander man.
so I could just say that there's a word that rhymes with runt fronting that people are accusing Coinbase of doing.
Well, we don't need to make any accusations. We can just talk about what went down in the Slack in terms of, I think, was it in the Slack that people were posting this stuff?
It
Yeah.
was. I saw it all over Twitter as well. I saw the
What
main
channel was it in? General?
General.
general. I saw some of the main
There's a lot of stuff going
personalities
down in general.
that are relevant on Twitter talking about it as well. And it's just kind of weird how like Coinbase. Well, one, I'd like to say that this very podcast definitely did say this scenario was coming many weeks ago
Coinbase.
when I first noticed that their terms and conditions changed and the wording got so general and so vague. And I even remember when I was talking about it on the show when I was like, yeah, they put all those general words in there so they can go 180 degrees the opposite direction and start putting on all kinds of shit coins onto their market and just start consuming transaction fees and admin fees and all the other things that Coinbase charges.
Isn't it like 2 million to list on Coinbase?
No, we got listed without doing anything.
No, it's not 2 million to list. Maybe it's $2 million worth of their man hours, but it's just you've got to go through their rigorous process of like being vetted, right?
Oh,
And it's
okay.
just hard to believe that these two random shit coins, we'll call it, even though I kind of don't like that vernacular because it's
I
not
don't see
relevant
anything in
anymore.
general about this.
I saw it all over Twitter, so it might not be in the Slack in the general channel. Maybe it's random, maybe it's price talk. But yeah, it's also sus when you have some coin that no one's ever heard about ever just pop up on the market and then
Remember when Coinbase only had like a few coins? When it was just like, Bitcoin,
well, yeah.
Litecoin?
I think that was back.
Coinbase.
I think it was back, Jesse, when there was like a team of 15 and they could afford to have scruples. But now that there's like a team of hundreds, they're like, we
Yeah,
need
they
that
really
money.
are.
What is that? What kind of token is that? What is that? Banana leaf coin? List it.
Leaf
List
coin.
it. Get ahead of it. List it.
I'd like to see I want to see under their hood like what trading bot they're using because like when you trade on Coinbase you can feel it. You know what I mean?
No,
You
I
can
don't.
see it and you can
Can
feel
you
it.
elaborate on that?
What do you mean feel it?
What do you mean
Yeah,
feel it?
you
Where
can
do you feel it?
you can
Like
feel the
physically?
lack of liquidity on the buy or sell
Oh,
side
okay.
depending on how you play the order book.
Okay.
This came
You can
from
feel, like-
Kobe. I can share my screen here.
Yeah.
You feel the lack of liquidity. So it's like
Yeah.
more of a gut feeling. Then. Like you feel it in
Yeah,
your
kind
heart.
of. Yeah, because your shit's not executing fast, and it's taking forever. And you see like trades disappearing on the opposite side of whatever the side of the order book you're playing on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty. You can feel
This is
it.
from Kobe. It was decently popular. He got 668,000 followers.
Yeah, he's kind of popular. He's kind of popular.
All right, so here's a pseudonym. No backing to this. But if you want to look into it, found an F address that bought hundreds of thousands of dollars of tokens exclusively featured on the Coinbase asset listing post about 24 hours before it was published. So,
I'm
do
not
what you want.
saying. Look, see, I like how. See, this is us. See, this is us casually practicing to move into hashing it out, right? We're gonna give you data, and we're gonna give you somewhere in between data and narrative. I mean, I'm just saying that data right there leads me to believe.
12/4/22.
Okay, on the 4th of December, 2022,
What's the next picture? Where's that? How do you work this?
and then this picture.
It's not the 4th of December.
It's not the 4th of December.
It's
How do you know that? There's no thing here. I want to see.
It's April.
April 12th. Well, you can only assume he posted that yesterday. This is
April 1st.
Oh, April 1st. Okay.
But like, there's no address here. Give me
Look at
more.
me. There is
Give
no
me more.
address here.
Whatever. All right. Well, it's an accusation that doesn't have a significant amount of evidence behind it because we can't dig into it. But this isn't the only one, and I'd imagine it'll get investigated.
Dude, sometimes Coinbase lists coins are like, here's a poo poo doo doo coin. And you're like, wait, huh? Who's on that project? And they're like, oh, it's the best project ever. Here's a 5-minute video on them. Go to town. And it's just like, okay. But to that end, it's almost like what is it? It's like what do they call it? A double-edged sword, where like they do also have a lot of great assets on there that are viable with good teams.
Well, I mean,
So
it's also like they built a reputation of being a solid on-ramp and foundation for people buying and selling crypto and storing it. Storing it, customer support sucks. But in terms of a noob-friendly place to buy and sell crypto in the United States, it's one of few.
Yeah. I know one thing. My brother
IPO.
My brother, yeah, they IPO'd last year.
So like they've got some severe eyes on them now. And that's like, if you think about that, that makes a little more sense on why they're adding so many assets, because their motivations are very obviously aligned now to stakeholders.
Yep.
And how do you get those? You trade a lot.
Yep.
So however they're able to legally add coins, they're going to legally add coins. And the previous harsh selection criteria that they used to have
not so
isn't
harsh
necessarily
anymore.
there because they can make more money doing something else, or their internal process has gotten a lot better and their risk assessment has gotten a lot better to be able to handle more risky coins, so that they can be traded and they gain fees from those, which gain shareholders money.
Do you think Brian Armstrong rides in a lowrider, like Ice Cube style?
That dude isn't having any. I would bet money that dude's fun is real weird.
Why do you say it like that? Why do you say?
How can you make that
weird?
assumption? You mean you can look? Hold up, pause. This is bigger than this conversation. You can look at a person and know how weird their fun is just by looking at them.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, let's test this.
All right.
When you look at
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Wait, what?
Sarah Michelle Gellar, average weird. Average fun.
Wait.
She probably likes enjoying a glass of wine with her friends. Have a nice dinner.
Okay, you're really good at this. That was pretty spot on of what I see her doing as well. Naomi Campbell.
You're bleeding in. You're bleeding into some weird stuff here. Surface level standard, but has a few kinks. They don't come out until later.
Okay, wait. Do we?
Do you?
Yes, dude.
You're
Jesse.
boring, dude.
What's Jesse's fun? Yeah.
Jesse's fun is late night Discord sessions.
Damn, he's got me.
Because I know. I've seen you do them.
He's got you pinned, Jesse. Late night Discord is your kink. Anyways, let's get back to what we're talking about here, and that is Coinbase is obviously maybe allegedly committing bullshit. Excuse my language. Bull poop. Run that back. Can we add that out at least just so it looks like I haven't cussed in a couple weeks? All right, that's all I have to say about Coinbase. I think Coinbase is obviously positioning themselves to be the new Federal Reserve in this next century at some point, or the century after. I'll be dead. But obviously they want to be a part of that action so that they're untouchable by anyone and they can just say what happens with crypto at all times in America. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to mainstream consequences, right? We said we wanted mainstream, but with mainstream comes regulation. There's no way around that, right? People need to feel protected. They don't necessarily need to, quote unquote, know how that protection takes place, but they need to feel protected. And I think mainstream involves that. That's just my opinion, right? I think that nobody right? Like people just don't walk around thinking about how the protection takes place, but they love the feeling of it, right? Does that make
I know
sense?
that when I leave the US, I feel a different sense of lack of security when I go to certain countries,
Not the same
Mexico.
feeling you get with
Like,
like a definite like I do not feel a protective cloud around me kind of feeling.
yeah, like you can't go outside after a certain time because you're in a
Mm,
sketchy part of a country.
yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, you can do that here in America, dude.
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's not the
It's pretty
same.
the same. Go walk around
Well,
Baltimore. I dare you.
okay.
I wouldn't
Well, in
recommend it.
certain areas.
Especially not with your current haircut and glasses situation. Walking
Oh, yeah.
around in certain parts of Baltimore might
Oh,
not end
I
I
see.
say
great.
this because I lived in Baltimore and I have experience.
Yeah, he did live in Baltimore. He knows. And I did a project in Baltimore. And let me tell you something. They don't even like if you like the same things that they like. That's that's what lets you know. Like, you're like, oh yeah, I like the Baltimore Ravens too. They're like, I don't give a damn about what you like. You're like, I thought we were gonna have a conversation. Okay. Moving aside from that, Corey, I know you had some things you wanted to shoot the jabber. You want to jabber jaw about?
Shoot the
Kind of. I want to
jabber
hear
jaw.
Jesse.
I'm not allowed to
I,
curse, bro. Leave me be. Leave me be. I'm
I
trying as
like
hard as
it.
I
I
can.
like this. Made up cuss words. I like this. I'm trying to do the same thing as like Declan gets older and starts repeating the things I say and my wife.
Yeah,
So we have to try and
that's good.
stop cussing as
That's
much
good.
at least.
Yeah.
So trying to
The
say
weekend effect.
expletives in new ways
Yeah.
that aren't really expletives has been interesting. Anyway,
That's good.
yeah, I hired Jesse. Jesse works for me now
Oh, we're
at
gonna
Status,
do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
and kind of want to hear about his experience. About like now you work at a crypto company for me.
You guys are work girls.
Why do you guys say it like that for me?
Did you do?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Hold up, pause.
Yeah, I think
Audience,
I mean, to
before
be
Jesse,
realistic, like we're working
I've-
together. Like
Yeah.
he's like he's enabling me to do what like I have to do.
I'm ghostwriting everything. Like,
audience, and pay close attention to the petty effect here. Jesse went from long line hair to straight up chiseled.
I
yeah,
Look at
had
Jesse
nothing to do with
here.
any of this.
I'm
He
trying to,
went.
well, I had to cut off my hair, right? Because it was untenable, right? The whole shampoo
I
deal,
don't agree.
it was a deal breaker, right?
I've seen plenty of I've seen plenty of lion hair pulled off.
So wait, let me circle back to answer
All right,
Corey's
I'll shut up.
question.
I'll shut up.
Working at Status is pretty fucking awesome. I'll curse because you guys can't. I don't have children. Yeah, no, it's really cool. It's like everybody knows what they need to do without even like needing somebody above everybody to really shout from the, I guess, mountaintop. But I think that working remote is interesting. It feels like if I feel motivated, you know, in a way that working a normal meat space job, I'd never felt this aligned and motivated to do my job
Mm.
because there's like actual meaning involved versus just kind of like, I guess, doing what you have to do to make the dollars. Does that make sense?
I hope you're not just blowing smoke up my ass.
You
No,
feel
I'm really not. Seriously. I'm not shitting
No.
you.
Corey.
Like I feel like I'm playing a game, right? Like I feel like I'm PvPing with people as my job. Like and the work is like the game, you know?
Not
Because
at
I
all,
like
actually.
all the games I like playing, like everybody's too old, they have families, right?
Mhm.
They have children, right? And so like if I recontextualize work as being like the PvP game and I get to like hang out with people who are friends and just work on stuff, like taking down bosses, like
You
reframing
mean
all that, like it
PvE or
makes sense.
PvP?
No, it's PvP because you know once we push stuff out, it'll be PvP.
Oh, you're talking about other P is other projects.
Other
working in the
projects,
space.
project v
Yeah.
project.
Yeah,
PvP, project v project. That's good. That's another quotable from this show. PvP. Well,
no, it's fun. So yeah, not blowing a smoke up your ass.
Congratulations.
How different is it compared to your
Meat space.
no
Now you're
Oh,
in the
your
beyond
your,
meat
your
space.
personal
It's brandable.
like
Beyond meat.
projections of what the job would be before you started?
no, I just knew it would be like this.
You did?
Yeah.
What? How did you know? Because like you know,
Oh, yeah.
people who listen to us,
Yeah.
like I'd imagine there's a good portion of them that think about quitting their job and going full time into crypto.
Well,
Now they may not
here's the thing.
start
I
a
would
company like
never.
Status, but like going
Yeah.
into this industry, you have preconceptions, and some of them
No.
sometimes they're met, sometimes they're not.
No, because here's the thing. Like, I know what the reality is, like working on the application layer, because like I have friends who work on the application layer, and that is a shithole. Like,
Why do you
it's
say so?
really, it's a cesspool. Why? Because the amount of greasing palms you have to do in order to get your shit, like depending on what you're doing, like DeFi, NFT, whatever the thing is, like it's just, it can get grimy, right? Like, because when you're running a ragtag group of people who are trying to like create real projects on the application layer, you are limited by the tooling available based on the L1 you select, right? And you deal with all the dynamics, pros and cons of all of the people who are building things that you don't have the time and money to build in a way that you believe in them, right? And so, case in point, specifically, like on Solana, you have no choice but to potentially modify Metaplex to push out NFTs. You have no choice but to grease the palms of secondary marketplaces who do large volumes, like transactional volumes of NFTs. And it gets grimy, man. Like, so, like, I've seen what that might look like because friends, like, they tell me, they're like, hey, like, I don't really like what I'm doing, but like, I have to make money. And I feel like that would be exactly how I felt working my meat space job, right? Which is I'm not aligned, right? Like I don't mind working a job for money, but what I mean is that the ideology has to be there for me to really care. If that's not there, then like I can't tap my work hard. I can't tap my grind. If I care, if you can get me to care, then I mean, sky's the limit, right? And me working, post the MCAT, working on Dad DAO, that was my grind. Like I really enjoyed that. And had I not gotten the opportunity to work with Corey, I'd probably still be grinding that shit. Because that shit is like the ideology is there.
Yeah. I think that's the plight of like all people in our. I think Corey and I are at the top of that age group, and you're near the bottom or the middle of that age group, Jesse. But like you
Mhm.
have to feel fulfillment from the work that you do. That didn't used to be a thing. It's a thing now.
Why is that? Why do you think that changed?
Over education in society.
Nah, I think security vanished. And then you realize that if there are no,
I
there's
think
no pension
security
plans
vanished
anymore.
because of the overeducation in society. And it's tough to say
Security
something like
vanished
that as
because
such a proponent of
the
education.
value in the US it disappeared decades ago. Real value. Production went away. We have no fabrication. Like in
The
terms of
value didn't
like
go away. The value more.
manufacturing and foundry stuff, that's
We're
gone to
not a
China.
we're not a production economy anymore. We're a service
We're not.
economy. But the people that
Yeah.
are benefiting from the fact that we're a service economy refuse to let the public know that. So the public is still operating under the pretenses that it is a production economy, knowing that their actual go to job, do stuff, productivity is just being leached out into the wealthy people that understand this is a service economy. Right? China's a service economy. The US is a service economy. Some
China's a
places.
hybrid, right? China's hybrid. They're not service. They're
Yeah,
production.
yeah, but their production economy is basically slave labor. So, I mean, that's kind of like, oh shit,
I
did I
mean,
say
China
too
has
far?
their
Are we
fingers in a
popular
bunch of
enough for
different
China to
things,
see
right?
this?
Looking at our metrics, China doesn't listen to us very much.
All right, cool. I don't think China's listening to what we say, but China's definitely a service economy as well. And I think that that's where the fulfillment has gone, Corey, is that You got a bunch of stupid educated people. Like, sorry, I mean stupid like slang, like rappers would use it. Like mad educated, son. We mad educated out here. And then we see that switch up real quick. That shit was dope. Anyways, like really highly educated society, right? That was told, I get an education, I go be productive, I get paid. Well, the society isn't dependent on your productivity anymore. It's dependent upon the services it provides the globe. So, what do you do?
Well, there's just a discrepancy of service, like service quality that we offer here, and you can get the same thing in from like India for, you know, a third of the price, right? So
And
depending on how specialized you become, then you become really worth your whatever dollar is associated with how much you actually can produce in terms of services. But the broad, I would say a lot of people are doing jobs in the US that could be outsourced for much cheaper. It's just they're not specialized.
Mhm.
They're just pencil pushers. Is that what they call them?
Not anymore. iPad
they used
tappers.
to, yeah. They used to be the term.
Call it tappers
Yeah.
now.
All right,
iPad
so yeah,
tappers.
okay. Let's circle back a little bit. You said that like the company was able to appeal to your ideals, made you give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, how does crypto like? Why does crypto do that? Like, why would someone join this industry to be fulfilled? And how are they not going to be subsequent to the same level of churn and pencil pushing that like they'd experience in meat space or everyday traditional jobs?
Well, let's look at a specific meat space job. Let's look at my previous job, right? I worked commercial construction. You know how the money is made in commercial construction?
I think D does.
Yeah. So
I
do
think
you like the way that the money is made in commercial construction? You know, at the end of it, you need Hispanic labor. You need people who are off the books laboring,
Oh,
right?
what
here
are you
in
talking
America.
about? Nobody does that. No.
Here in
So let's
America.
be real,
Totally
right?
legit. What
And
do you mean?
let's look at the way that, you know, the money actually moves. You have, you know, the development group who, you know, what percentage of the stack that they throw at a project is way smaller than it used to be. Most of the money still comes from banks, right? So at the end
Mhm.
of the day, banks are running the timetables on everything. Um, the development group sells to the bank the idea that they can flip this development property to a bigger sucker, right? And then that bigger sucker thinks that they can rent out, like we're talking apartment complexes, right? So let's say that, you know, development group says, you know, we have a track record of creating apartment complexes for low income people. We know the ins and outs of the government subsidy programs that are associated with, like, you know, HUD stuff. So we can put together this $12 million stack. We can flip this for a property that's worth, I don't know, 16 million to some sucker. They'll rent it out to low income folks who are minorities, and they'll get, you know, over a 20, 30-year period, they'll project it out, right?
Mm.
Such that, you know, eventually somebody makes money off of essentially the lowest rung of society, right? Hispanic laborers and the lower, less educated people.
I'm very happy you got out of this line of work, by the way. You're so matter of fact about some very dark shit, but keep going, keep going.
Yeah, no, so that was my job, right? It was figuring out how to efficiently produce that dynamic, right? And I'm just like, yeah, you're not fucking paying me you're not paying me enough because my wage was the same as it was in the 90s. And so like this is shit. I hate this. And two, like, which is actually it comes in front of one, is I hate this shit. It makes me feel bad.
Mm.
You don't
I
feel like
can I
that's the case
can
for
for
non-traditional jobs in
status.
crypto?
Well, no, it depends. It depends what organization it is, right? Not all
I would agree.
organizations in crypto are created are created equally.
So how do you figure that out?
I think it's
You
a,
look at
it's,
why you look at the basic questions, like why are they doing that? What are they doing to do that? You know, like you try and figure out, okay, what's the game that they're gaming here, right? Where's the money coming in? Why is it coming in? What are they building? How are they trying to siphon that money to make more money? Is it something I can get behind, right? You know, we can play around with all of the different motifs that the Rick and Morty episodes kind of string together. The bleep bloop shit, you know, We can talk about how, I don't know, just Rick and Morty has a lot of fun shit to it, simply
Mhm.
because like they hit upon the grimiest parts of the way our society works. And
Yeah.
I think that everybody kind of knows that we need to figure out some better shit because this shit's kind of shit, right? So
Everybody's
like,
got that general in the back of their head right after they drink coffee. They're like, man, we need to
He's
figure
not
seriously.
like the
lying.
cat with the
He's not
newspaper.
lying.
We
So
need
it's
to
like,
figure out
let's,
some better
you know,
shit.
in the way that I view my participation within Status as an organization, it's like, huh, get to change things
Corey, be careful.
potentially.
Oh wait, never mind. Sorry. Production
So
studio stuff.
yeah,
Um I think you're right, Jess. I think that naturally, I think what I don't know, Corey, if you remember this back in 2015, we interviewed a guy. His name starts with a C now, so many moons ago, but he talked about the opportunity for a dual renaissance. He's like, we're going in two directions. We're going.
oh my god,
What you say, Jesse? We need to fix this shit.
yeah,
We need to do
seriously.
some shit different.
Everybody knows that something's wrong, and there's a lot of some things that
For
are
sure.
wrong. So let's start
Yeah.
making differences.
It's like he talked about the opportunity of a dual renaissance, and then he said, hey, but first we gotta avoid blowing ourselves off the planet first. And he was like, every once in a while you have a dual renaissance, which is when you have equal movement and magnitude in technology and artistry and the humanities at the same time. And I feel like humanity's trying to get there, but then I also feel like whenever I turn on the news and it's like, yeah, Russia's definitely killing babies. We know for a fact there's not much anybody's going to do about it, but it's going down. Babies getting blown up as we speak. And there's a whole lot of raping going on in Africa that's going to lead to babies being blown up too. It's like, again, the same exact storyline again. It's like the same thing that's happening again. This will be the third time now. So it's like, but if not, then what happens, in my opinion, I'm no PhD, I'm no doctor or anything, but whenever you've got all this technology affording you time, you have this massive human effort or energy placed in just being human, right? We're talking about the humanities here, art, music, expanding on what we know from math, therefore expanding on what we know in science. Then you get a massive step change in how society works. And I think that we're living during what could be the beginning of that. I mean, at least Silicon Valley is trying to sell every single child on the planet that they're a creator. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's gonna be a dead end. That's
huh?
just that's a long burn dead end.
Yeah. I can't remember. An interview I was doing for another show that I'm on,
Mhm.
and it was like somebody's really hard selling. They're like, we want our creators to use our platform. And then I was like, yeah, but what do you do about the reality that not everyone's a creator? They're like, yeah, they are, everyone. And I'm like, no,
It's the
some
same thing
people
that
are
what
not
you just brought
creative
up earlier,
whatsoever.
like
Like,
1 in 4 Americans have a college degree when it used to be like in the early or like late 80s, early 90s, it used to be 1 in 20 had a college degree. So now you have people who have, the piece of paper that is commensurate to having completed like some degree of, I don't know, curricula,
mhm,
like that's correlative to whatever their major is. But the reality is like, where do they even plug in? Like, where are the jobs that they can actually use what they've learned, and then two, you're right. I mean, some people just have the degree because they were just pushed through, right?
mhm. This is
So like,
interesting. Corey, of the three of us here, you're the most. You got the most degrees. Why did you choose to get all three? Why did you choose to go all the way to legendary when you could have just beat the game on normal?
Because the work that I wanted to do required it. The level of understanding that I wanted in a given field required me to go that far. There's also a challenge that was, I figured if I could get a PhD in quantum dynamics, I can basically do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Did that play out well for you?
So far, it's working.
Nice.
so far it's working.
So far, so good.
You wanna know why I got my degree?
What?
One of the motivations.
I know it
There wa-
wasn't to do what you told us earlier because that was some dark stuff.
I had a I had a 5th grade teacher who told me you suck at math. And then I found out that engineering like uses a lot of math. And I was like, I'm doing that.
Bro, you suck at working for me.
I was so excited
So
when
wait a
I
second.
finished my degree. I was like, fuck you, lady.
That's like fighting game psychology. Like somebody got a perfect on you in round 1, so now you're studying the game guide to never lose to them ever again. Is that what's happening right now?
I mean, honestly, when I like it when people say I can't do something because then I just do
I was
it.
told
just for
something
fun.
similar in middle school.
Yeah.
In high school. In high school, I was told I shouldn't take AP courses because I'm not smart enough.
Yeah.
Fuck those people.
And they also told him you're never gonna have a full beard. And look at this guy go.
On accident. Not even trying.
Oh man. Well, that was an interesting conversation. We kind of jumped into something deep there, but how does that turn in? How does that? What I think this folds into crypto because crypto is finding out at a very very accelerated rate that the human aspect of it is what gives it value. I think, right?
It just feels so obvious to me. Why is that such a revelation?
It's
It's such
not
a
a
revelation
revelation.
because I think that some people don't realize how powerful human consensus is. They don't get it. They haven't lived through it. They don't
I guess
understand it.
I guess we spent the past 10 years thinking about the concept of like what gives this thing value.
Yeah, and it's kind of
I mean, I
innate
already
to
fucking
us.
knew that. I don't know why. Like, what the fuck? Like, why is everybody pointing this thing out?
Well,
What?
like
Like,
a lot of
everybody
people don't
knows
think
that.
about money in the first place, like where money comes from. They don't know it's not backed by gold. They don't know how it's printed. They don't. All they know is they work for it and it buys their groceries and pays their bills. That's it.
People are really indoctrinated into that social construct of the way that they earn money is going to a 9 to 5. Like, that is for
Oh
sure.
yeah, and
You're
that's
right.
why people are will always be poor. They always think that way. You'll always be poor.
There's reasons for that
Yeah.
though, Jesse. Is that because at that point in society, having that level of structure and rigor leads to predictability, forecasting, planning, like assigning, like it leads to good things throughout society. But however, when that fabric starts to erode, you got to start rethinking things. You have to. Um,
Here's a question then, based on this conversation. Will we ever get to a point where the world can run where the majority of people are not literally exchanging their time and effort for money?
Yeah. Have you seen Star Trek? The Federation runs like that.
Sure, but that's a made up world.
hey, sci-fi turns
Have
into
you seen Have you seen what a
fact.
smartphone is? Have you
No.
seen what a tablet looks like in Star Trek? You
Yeah,
tell
but
me
like
made up
the
shit.
ideals of humanity
Yeah.
and greed
Yeah.
are like seem to be outside of the Federation, which isn't necessarily true. There's a few episodes where that's not necessarily like where they have some internal strife and there's
Yeah.
Mhm.
some corruption, but like
Yeah.
reality is, I think, a little grosser than this.
I think
It's a
you're
beautiful
right.
ideal,
Yeah.
but humans are human.
I think that there are a select group of people, like for instance, there are people who pop onto Discord and language servers that I'm a part of, right? And these people see the illusion for what it is and
Mhm.
realize if we could all just fucking utopia mode, which like you said, is not gonna
Nah,
it's not gonna be a reality for everybody.
no.
But I think that if you have a small select group of people who are hyper aware, they'll they'll understand. Like, they'll understand you don't really need money as long as they have like a combined treasury, like a co-op that pays out everything that they might ever need. But it's like you know, a hyper aware group of very intellectual people. I think that could exist within the grossness of reality.
Sure. Does that the next question there is like, is the exhaust of that hyper aware group a net negative on society as a whole?
Not sure.
Right. And so, like, if you think about, I guess thermodynamics, right?
Sure.
Like entropy
Yeah,
always increases.
sure.
Like you can decrease the entropy of a given system, but if you look at it from a global perspective, there's
Yeah.
always a total increase in entropy. So like, are
Yeah.
people living this way at the cost of others? And if so, is that fair?
I think there is no way to not get past that. I think for us to
So,
live
at
better,
the end of the
somebody
day,
else has to suffer.
people at the bottom are going to get fucked.
Well, here's the thing. If everybody wants to get to the same level as the people who are like at the top, then yeah, it's not sustainable. It will always feel that way. But if everybody like made homes out of mud tomorrow, right? And just was satisfied with rice and beans, and we, like again, this is like some ideal like fake shit, right? That will never happen. Like if we all forewent air conditioning, which I will not want to, for
I
one.
ain't doing that.
um I think resources wise and contraception and education, like you had to fire on all the cylinders, right?
Yeah.
To make these people really figure out, like they have, like there's no way to take everybody, because there are some real dumb people who don't get it.
Aaron overheard a conversation the other day. She went to urgent care. She has some allergy stuff going on. Aaron's my wife. And some lady was complaining about her foot was hurting. And the person helping her was like, "Which foot? Right, your right or your left?" And she's like, "I don't understand. Like your right or your left foot?" She's like, "Which one is this one? My right one?" She points to her left. She's like, "The lady didn't know the difference between her right and left."
How old
These
was
people have made it into adulthood and haven't killed themselves or died on accident.
But they have value, right? Everybody has value.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
value does that person have?
Inspiration.
I'm going to agree with you. I
Inspiration to
agree with
somebody
you.
else.
Everyone has value.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's equal, but
I think it's like that's the whole point of that crypto could bring. It's slap on a metric for intangible worth, because not like intelligence isn't the only thing that produces like real value in this world. Somebody
agreed.
could be
And she's probably a
super
mother to somebody,
right,
daughter to
and
somebody.
and the love she provides like makes somebody do something impactful and positive, net positive potentially, for the world.
But there's a dystopia to that same vision that
Yeah,
I'd like to be
100%.
mindful of, and that is
Dude,
when we
that's why
quantify a bunch of intangibles.
that's why you go 50-50 like me, man.
We got some gross people that are going to take advantage of that.
Equal
So,
and
like, I am
Yeah.
curious about, like, if just take for instance like what we're building at Status, right?
Sure.
We'll know more about this later, but like if we add the ability to quantify social value
Yep.
within a community,
Yep. Are we doing Black Mirror type shit?
yeah,
Yeah.
is that the inevitable consequence because we can't stop certain behaviors? We're not going to try to stop certain behaviors.
I'm telling you, you got to watch the two back-to-back two-parter episode when Deep Space Nine with the what was it?
Are we
The
getting
ghetto,
off
basically.
Space Nine, Next
Listen,
Generation.
I don't
listen.
think the audience is shocked at all that we like science fiction storylines and themes. I think they're
Oh
very.
yeah, dude.
I think
Video
they're
games
like,
and sci-fi and
Yeah.
shit like
Yeah, the
that.
argument is not whether or not Star Trek is great; it's whether or not Next Generation is better than Deep Space Nine, which it obviously is.
I'm
They're
50-50.
both good.
I think that like I'm a 50-50 individual. I think that the chaos is structured in such a way that if I were to walk outside of my house and assault somebody in the face, at that same time on the planet, someone else is giving someone something out of the kindness of their heart. It's just. It's just.
You believe in karmic there's it's called something in psychology. It's like the good earth hypothesis.
By the way, I think
hypothesis.
that this is why Batman is such a good hero. His villains are great. It's the old Two-Face mentality. I'm gonna flip a coin. If it's an X on the back, sorry, you're gonna get blasted in the face with this John Gotti. If I flip a coin and it's not an X, congratulations, you get to live today. Everything is just.
I don't think everything it's called the just world hypothesis. It came to me just now. Yeah. That's what it's called. Yeah.
That's exactly. I wrote about it.
But it's a fallacy, like So
It's a fallacy.
it's a fallacy. Yeah.
Well, not in my brain.
Yeah.
So
They're going to do whatever they can to optimize their local environment
Mm-hmm.
and themselves and the people and things they care about. Some
Mhm.
people are that scope is larger for some than others, and they're going to use what tools they have available to them to do
Mhm.
that, to leverage their ability to do that as best they can. We're
Yeah.
building tools that increase the options and power of their leverage.
I think to your point, Corey, things could go really bad and then get really good. Because like in life, I don't believe things are 50-50, but I do believe that the pendulum always swings back.
I
Right.
mean, there's consequences to this because it's way more transparent.
Yeah.
People have options to leave. These like
Yeah.
for instance, like I call blockchain systems
So
like asshole resistant, right? They try
Yep.
like they seek to reduce the ability of an asshole to have influence on the greater part of their community and
Unless, yeah,
expose it when they do.
maybe.
So if you give people options,
Mhm.
they can leave when they have been exposed to the behaviors of a given asshole
mhm.
Mhm.
or extradite them from their community if we
Yeah.
build those tools correctly. Because right
Yeah.
now, assholes are being assholes and we can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
So I'm
I have a
curious
question.
if it gets better. Like, I hope it does.
So this is something I
Me too. I
guess
hope it does too, Corey.
my question is, you can have a totally operant society and a group of people, community, with very heavily monitored and constrained, design, define, or whatever you want to say, central entities. Right? So, does crypto get to the point where that has to be necessary? For example, I'll give a real
No,
life
I don't think
I'll
it
give a
needs
real
to.
life
I
example.
don't think it needs to be.
Hold on, let me
Let
give
me
a
give an
real life
example.
example. And then you say, for example, flying a plane,
Mhm.
flying commercial planes,
Mhm.
right? Not every human on the planet needs to know how to do it, have the skills, care, but we have very trusted entities that assure that the people that get behind the sticks in a plane are going to both take off and land that plane and everybody aboard. In fact, they call them souls around the globe. Every person who steps onto an airplane is called a soul at that point in time.
Hmm.
Is going to get off the ground and back on the ground. We don't need everybody on the planet to know how to do that, because what you'll get is like fireworks every night of planes just, there's another one. Oh, it's like mosquitoes running into each other. There goes another one. Right? So we've got very centralized, regulated, constrained design. All the things that are involved structure is applied to that technology.
Okay.
Your immediate response was like, no, we don't need that in crypto.
I don't understand what you mean by centralized. Like,
I think like you can't imagine, like if you don't look at what's being done, it's hard to imagine something better. And it's like, just imagine like BitTorrent D, like
Okay.
people sharing pirated content, like movies, random songs, books, right? Of their own volition. They're
Mhm.
not getting paid. Nobody got paid until Justin Sun, bought it from Bram Cohen. But you know what I mean? Like nobody
drove it to
got
the
paid.
ground.
It was just, yeah, honestly, everybody's just sharing information just for the sake of sharing it, right?
Mhm.
And so, like, you have these fragmented systems where they become whack-a-mole, right? Like, yeah, FBI or whatever can take somebody's computer down or whatever, but I mean, it's I guess it's the system is dynamic enough that you can spring it back up and you can start back up again.
Yeah, but here's the thing. To answer like to what he's talking about is specialization.
Yeah, he's talking about like
And in order to specialize,
air tower.
You guys get me.
you're
So
going to have to like the further down the hole you go with specialization, the smaller amount of people that are able to participate in
Yeah,
the conversations that are required at that level,
yeah.
which is I guess, form of centralization of information. How do you
No
check
bias
that?
is inherent.
And so, yeah, that happens now and today
You
in
let
crypto.
you let it be
I'm an
extensible,
example of
right?
this.
you said what, Petty?
That I'm an example of something like this. Like the people who build zero knowledge circuits for some of the privacy tech we're doing, they're an example of that. The question is like,
Yeah.
how do we mitigate the negative effects we see elsewhere of this type of specialization? And that's typically through transparency.
But
You guys hear that?
how can they check you when they don't even understand, right?
Oh, okay, good. Here.
That's why the cookbook is
The
really
types of
useful.
information that can be shared. The people who use the results of these things understand how they should work. then people who are maybe not the ultimate specialists of the system can design ways of checking it to make sure it works appropriately.
Hmm.
And those people will do that, especially when money's involved.
Specialization. That's interesting, man. I wish we had a good marketer out there who was listening to that. Like, it's like flipping. It's not centralization. It's specialization. What are you talking about? What
Well,
are you
when you say centralized, you have to talk about the context of centralization and why it's happening.
Mhm.
I
And
agree. I don't disagree.
then think
I'm
about
just saying.
what
We got to make it brandable,
negative-
baby. We got to sell it to the smoothies.
Well, I don't care. Like, it's like, stop saying the word by itself. It's stupid. Everyone should just stop saying the word by itself.
It's
You say
almost like
decentralized or centralized, you talk
decentralization,
about
right?
something.
You have to
that's being
context it.
centralized.
Yeah.
Okay.
So otherwise, you're just memeing, which is
I love
forcing a
memeing.
particular emotion around a topic without any
Mm.
without any explanation. Right?
True.
That's why it's so viral. You make people feel
That's
something
very-
about something without telling them anything about it.
It's very meta. I think memes can be a good thing too. Right.
Sure, if the emotion is appropriate for the context. It's just it's the smallest form of information you can spread, but it's packaged with an emotion.
We talk about some deep stuff here on the Bitcoin podcast. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's like,
This
if you
is
think about
It's very
specialization,
Yeah.
like that's it. That's an interesting, like, I don't know, I don't want to call it a paradox, but like, I've been thinking a lot about like the spread of information in general, and
Mhm.
like specialization of the people who need to be involved to absorb it.
Mhm.
So if you look at the very top, like the most spreadable form of information to people is a meme, because it's
Yeah.
the smallest packet of information, which is, here's an emotion about an idea.
Mhm.
I'm going to make you feel something about this thing. That's it. Right. And that's easy to spread because it's very easy for humans to feel and not think. And as you go down further and further and further down, like the spread of information, you get to like heavy specialization. So like, we'll talk exact. If I want to have a conversation with someone and communicate with them about the intricacies of exact quantum dynamics and how you do that on supercomputers, I can think of maybe 3 people in the world that can do that at the level that I'm capable of doing it.
Mm.
So like, the further you go with the complexity of information that you need to spread, a smaller amount of people you can spread it to, because it requires a certain level of understanding for them to even absorb that information.
They'll just break it. Like if you give them
When
too
break
much.
it's hitting a brick wall. Nothing happens. So like, that's what we met in all of our early days of trying to convince people about Bitcoin, is we were throwing complex words at a brick wall because all of the stuff required to get there was what they weren't there yet. It was too specialized. And all this time, people have been trying to dumb it down and memify it. That's why the media only talks about illicit use of crypto,
Dude,
because that's all they can understand.
God.
Right?
I watched the worst opinion piece on crypto on the Young Turks this morning. I just turned on the TV trying to zonk out.
That's what their audience understands easy.
Dude, I was like, wow. How's it 10 years now and still nobody is bridging that gap? And it could just be money that's causing that gap to have no bridge, right? Some people spend money so money can't be spent. That's deep. Think about it. Marinate on it. But that could be what it is. So anyways,
We should wrap it up. What's an hour here?
we should wrap it up. Always practice safe sex, everyone. It'll keep you protected. So earlier in the episode, we talked about something that's kind of growing more slowly near and dear to our heart with the community that we're building, which is very awesome at the Bitcoin Podcast Slack and Dad DAO. Dads are rolling in. But if you found yourself in a situation where you feel like you're working for a production economy that doesn't exist, it could be that you need to just think about a different gig. And boy, oh boy, I'd like to show you something. Are you working in a job that sucks balls? Does your job suck and ergo your life? Do you want to change that? because your life is sucking? Join the TBP Slack. Get a better job. Yeah, so it's all there in the commercial. You can join the Slack, and there's a high likelihood that you'll find yourself in a more fulfilling, engaging environment like Jesse here.
No, I'm pretty fucking lucky, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has a job like I have a job right now.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get Corey like best boss ever mugs and
No, I'm fucking not gonna get him a mug.
why not?
I'm giving him a shirt, or
Why'd
not
you
a shirt, the hat thing. You know, everybody gets a hat who helped with the
I'll be a
podcast.
best boss in a year. See how that goes. It's been
So it's only gonna get worse.
I've
I
been-
can
it's been a couple
imagine.
weeks. We got a lot of work to do.
So we're gonna wrap this puppy up. Thank you for enjoying this episode of the Bitcoin Podcast. We're rounding out the end of the tenure of the Bitcoin Podcast, episode 400. We're calling it a day. And you know what? I'm thinking we can launch Ashing out before we finish the Bitcoin Podcast, but that's up to you guys. We've got to talk about that off the air. Quick things that we're into right now.
Website, baby.
Absolutely. Go to the bitcoinpodcast.com, join the Slack, get in on the conversation. We're trying to get to 1,000 members before we get to 10,000 because that's how numbers work. And then you can also go to daddao.org and you could become a dad very soon. You will be able to mint a dad token, and that will engage you in all the very awesomeness that is the Dad DAO. I don't want to go into details before the town hall, which is on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern time. For those of you that would like to join Dad DAO, go to daddao.org, join the Discord. I will let you know, though, after the mint, your first joining of the Discord is going to be moot because you're not going to be allowed to do anything in that Discord if you don't have a dad token. That's running on the Algo network. So that's just a
Hey,
heads
did you
up.
see Me6? I think
Algorithm.
Andy posted that.
Say what now?
No, what did you say, Corey?
What did you say, Jesse?
Nothing.
Oh,
Corey said
no.
Algorizzle, which is a rapper from the South, Louisiana to be exact. And then Jesse, you said, did you see that post about Me6?
Yeah, Me6.
What's that?
You know, Me6, the Discord bot. They're like really widely
Oh, yeah.
integrated as
They
a
have a
generalized
token
Discord
now,
bot.
right?
Yeah, and they're collaborating with basically the blue chips and Ethereum. So
what does that mean?
just fucking that's the fire under your butt for Dad DAO. All those people.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because they're building too, and they've got a lot more.
It's a lot of people
Yeah,
building.
they got a lot more human energy behind them. So, what else do we got going here? Corey, do you got anything going? You want to plug yourself?
I'm going to be gone for the rest of the year.
Okay.
The rest of the month. I'm going to be in Amsterdam giving talks at the TrustX Security Conference. I tell you to join, but it's sold out.
Aren't we sponsoring that? Shouldn't we throw that up?
Yeah,
Just
we're going to be sponsoring it.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. And
yeah. Look at us.
the talks will be recorded. We'll be sure to share them
Good community members,
whenever they're
us.
out. And I'll share my slides. And I'm doing panels, and then I'm doing a workshop. I'll share their slides for the workshop or the video of it. And then after that, me and Jesse will be in Dubai for the status all hands. And after that, I expect we'll have quite a few things to talk about because many things are going to be getting like soft released at the status all hands. And I'll be talking more about the work that me and Jesse are doing soon after that. So like buckle up.
Nice, man. Nice.
Or just go look at our GitHub and you can figure it out yourself.
Yeah, you could do that.
Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this puppy up. We want to thank you guys for listening to another episode, tuning in. Looking forward to hanging out with you in Slack. Looking forward to hanging out with you in Discord. That's a wrap. We're going to cut this one. Play the outro. Which one's the outro? This one.